If you're a current job seeker, you are probably way more familiar than you ever wanted to be with the acronym ATS. But in case you're not, ATS stands for Applicant Tracking System, and that is the software that screens job candidates before making it to the recruiter and then making it to the hiring manager. And as a veteran hiring manager, I can tell you that what I want to see on a job application can be vastly different than what makes it through the applicant tracking system. So today I'm sharing some tips and strategies to make it through the ATS in order to talk to a live human. If you're new to my channel, welcome. I'm Kristen. I am a 25-year veteran hiring manager turned executive career coach. I help mid to senior level corporate women rise through the ranks, get promoted, and transition into work they love. So first, the bad news. And I just want to lay everything out there so that you can make your own decision with regard to your resume and with regard to your cover letter. But these systems are notoriously terrible for being racist, sexist, and ageist. And they're becoming more so. This was a problem before AI, but it's been exacerbated as a result of it. The applicant tracking systems have a preference for the younger, maler, and whiter demographic. So here's what happened. The software adapts to who is selected to move on to the next round. So for example, if someone has a Black employee resource group on their resume and that candidate isn't selected or several candidates are not selected, the software will adapt. And if you have that on your resume, they'll just automatically weed you out rather than moving you on to the recruiter because you have the other necessary skills needed for the job. And this is more than not okay, it's actually illegal, but it's really hard to prove at this stage in the game. So there are two schools of thought with regard to this. One is, if this is the culture of the organization and they're not paying attention to these markers, this isn't going to be a place that is friendly to me, and I probably don't want to work there. I recognize that this is a very privileged position to be in, and you have to have some money in your bank account in order to be in this camp. Another position is, I really need a job. Can you help me with this? And yes, I can. So here's a non-exhaustive list of some of the things to pay attention to. So this is probably obvious, and I hope you've done this already, but I've seen a number of resumes where this has not been done. Make sure you take the year you graduated off of the education section of your resume. Also, narrow down the experience to the last 10 years. For gender, take off anything related to the PTA, childcare, or children in general. Subconscious bias towards mothers is one of the most notorious forms of gender bias, so let's not even tempt the system. With regard to race, gender, LGBTQ status, and disability, take off any employee resource groups or affiliations unless that was actually a part of your job description. And if you want to step it up even further, numerous studies show that Christopher versus Christine, so a male name versus a female name, receives a 30% higher callback rate. And the same is true for John versus Jamal or Jose. So you might want to consider using your initials instead of your full name if this is the case. Now, let me be clear. I hate giving this advice. Discrimination is not just illegal, it is immoral and in direct conflicts with what corporations are supposed to be doing, which is making more money. Every study since the beginning of time shows that diverse and inclusive teams outperform homogeneous teams, meaning make more money. But you need a job, but I totally get it, and I want to present you with all the information and you can make your own decision. The last thing to say about this is I wouldn't worry so much about LinkedIn. Personally, I do not have the years I graduated on my LinkedIn profile, and the reason for this, doing it differently for the application tracking system versus LinkedIn, is a human is likely going to be looking at your LinkedIn profile, and granted, humans have bias, but if it's a recruiter or the hiring manager, they're going to be far more likely to appreciate the fact that you are head of the women's employee resource group than the applicant tracking system. Okay, now on to the strategy. First and foremost, ditch the template. I love a good template. This is also advice I hate giving. I love the columns. I love the neat format, but unfortunately, these systems do not like them. So the plainer, the straighter, the better. One of the things I would say that's not going to matter for the applicant tracking system, but will help distinguish your resume and cover letter once you get to a live human, is do not use Times New Roman font. It's the most commonly used font, and your application is more likely to blend in with all the others. So don't use anything weird or scripty, but stick to something simple like Arial font, and you'll just distinguish yourself a little bit more. Second, remember this is a word matching game. I mentioned this in my video discussing how to make it past the recruiter, and I'm going to link that below in case you haven't seen that yet. But what you're doing is you're looking at the job description and you're looking at your resume and you are using the exact language. This is not a genius system. It's just looking for certain keywords, and that's both hard skills and soft skills. And while this is not rocket science, you do need to be really meticulous when you do this, when you're highlighting and then you're looking and making sure that everything is copacetic. And this is why in my other videos, I recommend applying to 1 to maximum 4 or 5 jobs a week. In an economy like this, you want to make sure that every application allows you to hit it out of the park rather than just blanketing companies with multiple resumes. They really need to be exact because companies have their selection of candidates at this point in the game. And while I'm not affiliated with this company, I do recommend, and I was turned on to this site by a colleague, it's called jobscan.co. It was a pretty impressive site, if I'm honest with you, and I'm not a really big fan, if you've seen some of my other videos, of AI technology because I think it falls a little flat. But what this allows you to do is to upload your resume and then upload the job description, and it will do a review to make sure that you are setting yourself up for success for any job in which you apply. All you need to do is enter your email, and there is a free version. And my thought is that in this tough economy, let's get all the help we can. I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, like, share, and subscribe. With this channel, I want to build a kind, supportive community of individuals, not just job seekers, but those supporting each other with finding jobs and getting promoted as well. Thanks so much for watching. I come out with new videos each week. So until then, take care.